Alright, let's talk about collecting messages. Once GrayLog and associated components are running, the next step is to begin collecting logs. So the first step is to create an input. Inputs define the method by which GrayLog collects logs. Out of the box, GrayLog supports multiple methods to collect. You could go with syslog. I see Kafka in there, that's awesome. And then Gelf, AWS, Beats, Logstash, CEF. An input could be a JSON path from an HTTP API. We could use Nevlo or plain raw text. We talked about content packs in the last video. Additional inputs may be installed via content packs. Content packs are bundles of GrayLog input, extractor stream, dashboard, and output configuration that can provide full support for a data source. Some content packs are shipped with GrayLog by default, and some are available from the website. Content packs that were downloaded from the Greylog Marketplace can be imported using the GrayLog web interface. You can load and even create your own content packs from the system /content packs page. I would put an arrow or a greater than sign right here if I was them. But sometimes a picture is worth 1,000 words. Let's go ahead and look at the GrayLog Marketplace. And from here you can click Content Packs and look at content packs that are available. What I did is I just clicked a random number here, and then I clicked the content pack. And then I wanted to see what exactly is going on for the content pack to work. So I clicked View on GitHub. And essentially a content pack is just a JSON file with information like this. So this is not going to be the most exciting read. In this example, this is a Fortinet content pack provided by somebody named alias454 on GitHub. They start with name, FortiGate UTM firewall. The description is the FortiGate UTM content pack contains extractors, a stream, a dashboard displaying the last 24 hours of activity, and a syslog TCP output. This category is firewall. Now the inputs are here. Title, Fortinet TCP input. Configuration, you have this buffer size, this keep alive flag set to false, this use null delimiter false. What is this, the first part of the inputs? So configuration. If we jump down here, this is the static fields, so there's none. And then we have type, global is set to true. Here are the extractors we talked about. This one's going to be Fortinet time, a regex type, a copy for cursor strategy, and I'll let you read the rest of those. The next one is a Fortinet log ID. This one's just called a Fortinet type. What was our first one called? Fortinet time. So this is going to go on for a very long time. And yeah, as you can see, this is pretty large. So it's nice that there are people out there sharing these things so you don't have to do all that yourself. Okay, so we're focusing on the collect messages part of the GrayLog docs. To create an input, open the system inputs page in the top menu, click the arrow in the drop down field, select your input type, and click the green button, should say green, right here, but that button is labeled launch new input. Usually the default settings are correct, but you may change any that you wish. Some input types may require authentication or other information specific to that source. So there's a note, if GrayLog is not running as root, you will not have the option of using ports lower than 1024 for inputs. Okay, so let's take a step back to the content packs, sorry. I think the big takeaway there is that the JSON is the type of file format used to share content packs. JSON is definitely not difficult to read, so you can go through a variety of content packs and maybe mix and match things that you want. Now the next question is what has to happen if GrayLog isn't running as root, and you just simply have to use ports higher than 1024. Now this next part says the sending devices may need to be reconfigured. It is best practice not to run as root, so you might need to look at a load balancer or an other external way to basically perform port translation. Now you'll save the input, it'll start automatically. If your event source is already configured to send events to the port you selected, in the case of push event sources like syslog or CEF, you should start to receive messages within a few seconds. Check out Sending and Log Data if you'd like to learn more about the support options for ingesting messages into GrayLog. So once you have that going, to verify the messages are being collected, check the throughput/metrics section to the right of your input. You should see the network I/O value start to climb, showing the amount of data consumed on this input. So let's see if I could zoom in here. Okay, every time I zoom in, it makes it smaller. So sorry. Basically, you're going to look right here. We see local inputs, appliance Guelph UDP on that node. Okay, and then there's an appliance syslog UDP, and that's set up on the same node. They tell you to click on the Show Receive Messages button next to the input you just created. You should now see the messages received on this input. So here's that. If you click on Sources in the top menu, you'll see a nice overview of all devices, servers, or applications that are sending data into GrayLog and how many messages has received from each source. Initially, you may not see much on this page. However, once you start sending data from more systems, their host names or IP address will also be listed on this page. And I did notice that in the new GrayLog version 4, you could use dark mode if this bright white and the pink is hurting your eyes. They have a funny message here. Skip the following section if you are all good. Well, not me, so if you don't have messages, let's check to see that you made the proper entries in the input configuration described above. Check the configuration at the event source and make sure that it matches the ports and other options defined in the input. For example, if you change the port for a syslog UDP input to 5014, be sure the sending device has that same port defined. And then check to see if traffic is coming to the defined port. You can use the tcpdump command to do this. And I think that's such a good command, I will take a note of it. It'll also be in the description of this video so you can copy and paste. Alright, now once you've done that, check to see if the server is listening on the host. So I'll just put that right below the last one. And if after all of that you're still having issues, connect to the community support or get in touch with us via the professional support offering. Here's the community forums, there's an IRC, FAQ, and I suppose there's always Stack Exchange as well. So that's good for this video. In the next one, looks like we're back to talking about installation.